What's up everyone, I'm Gooshy, and in this video we're going to be going over the Assassin build. The Assassin, in my opinion, is probably the most technical class within the game, as you really have to think about which targets you're going to be attacking, and what abilities you'll be using. So in this video, I'll be going over the gear that I'm using, as well as the skills, and most importantly, the playstyle that you'll be using. As a side note for all of you guys who have followed my channel for Ghost of Tsushima content, voting for Game of the Year is happening right now. And if you guys have been loving this game as much as I do, go ahead and go to the Game Awards website, which I'll link down below in the description, and vote. The whole process will take under a minute. All you have to do is connect your Twitter, Facebook, or Google account, and then vote for Ghost of Tsushima. There's also other categories that Ghost of Tsushima got nominated for, so scroll down, and if you think that Ghost of Tsushima did a good job in that category, go ahead and vote. And if you really want Ghost of Tsushima to win, you can also sign in to your other accounts and vote multiple times. And every vote matters, so take that 1 minute out of your day to represent the game that we all love. With that, let's get started with the build. What I really like about this build is that it fully uses all its weapons, and they synergize super well with each other. So this build revolves around high stealth damage, using our Vanish and Smoke Bomb, and then reducing its cooldown with the Spirit Kunai. To get as much stealth damage as possible, we'll have stealth attack damage on our Blowgun, Stealth Charm, and Smoke Bomb. We'll also be using this Stone Striker. This helps our neutral game to get big bursts of damage. I found that I really wasn't using my ultimate that much, only using it for things like staying alive or to travel long distances across the map. So we're not too worried about using Resolve. Stone Striker's legendary perk gives any class Heavenly Strike, but more importantly, it does a special attack if the enemy's guard is broken. And this special attack does crazy amounts of damage. In total, it does around 10 bars of damage, which is almost equivalent to one of your stealth attacks. We'll also be using the Wind Stance with increased stagger damage to take down enemies' guards faster. This also synergizes super well with our Blowgun. Naturally, the Blowgun does poison damage, which slowly ticks away at the enemy's guard meter. To show how awesome this is, the combo of using 2 kicks and then a Heavenly Strike will immediately take down an Oni Archer. Heavenly Strike also gives extra utility by stunning enemies. This means that you could cancel any enemy's attacks after you hit them with the Heavenly Strike. Finally, having that Stone Stance will help you finish off enemies with low health by using Piercing Strikes to do direct damage through the enemy's guard. One of the major downsides of the Assassin is that it doesn't have a natural way within its skills to heal. So usually you rely on weapons that heal like Mist of Yugata or Touch of Heaven. But I came across another way. Shoutouts to Offguns on my Discord for giving me this idea. And this is using the perk Combat Regeneration. With this perk, you don't need any other healing methods. This is a passive perk, so you're not reliant on a cooldown for heals. Another great thing is that this can proc multiple times within a fight. And it heals more than Mist of Yugata and even a Healing Gourd. In this clip, it does proc when you use Vanish and Smoke Bomb 2 times. Once when you use the ability, and then for some reason once after the ability ends. And because of that, this is probably one of the best healing perks you can have on the Assassin, and pairs perfectly with the Spirit Kunai, which will reduce the cooldowns of your Smoke and Vanish. Next, we'll talk about the techniques that we'll be using. For our class ability, we'll be using Group Vanish, mostly because it has a lower cooldown. If we did want to spec more into stagger damage, we could do Toxic Vanish, but I think that lower cooldown is more important. Our first perk is Critical Hit, to get that consistent 30% increase to assassinations. Perk 2 will be Experienced Assassin, so we can get more assassinations in while using Smoke Bomb. And for our third perk, we'll be using Legendary, so we can use the Stone Striker and the Spirit Kunai. Finally, we'll go over the playstyle for this build. For the most part, we want to use Vanish and Smoke Bomb as many times as possible. So what I like to do is start off with Vanish, since it has the lowest cooldown. As we kill enemies, always remember to finish them off with the Spirit Kunai so we can reduce the cooldown of Vanish. I usually try to save my Smoke Bomb for large groups of enemies. With the Smoke, you can get around 4 to 5 kills if you're focusing on the right targets. And this is super important while playing the Assassin. You want to be focusing on enemies you can assassinate in one hit. Taking down weaker enemies will help thin the crowd out so you don't have a lot of enemies attacking you at once. Towards the end of the fight, you should have your Vanish again, just in case you need it. Finally, to deal with those larger health pool enemies, you'll always want to engage with your Blowgun to poison enemies, and to follow up with some Wind Stance kicks. Once their guard is down, use that Heavenly Strike to chunk down their HP. If you need to, use your Heavenly Strike to stun enemies out of their attacks, making enemies easier to deal with. And with that, that's everything you need to know about the Stagger Assassin build. I was super excited when I made this build, mostly because I've been really trying to find a use for the Stone Striker, and I finally did it. So if you guys try this build out, let me know how it works for you guys in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Hope to catch you next one, and GG.